What is the actual insanity defense? Imagine being accused of a crime and feeling like your mind is a different world, making it hard to tell right from wrong. That's where the insanity defense comes into play. It's a legal strategy used when someone admits they committed the act but claims they weren't fully responsible because of their mental state at the time. This defense argues that a mental illness or defect prevented them from understanding what they were doing or that it was wrong. The core idea is that the defendant did not have the mens rea or guilty mind needed to be held responsible. It's not about denying the act but saying their mental condition excuses them. This is different from defenses like self-defense, where the act is justified, or diminished capacity, which might reduce charges but doesn't fully excuse the act. Different places use different tests to decide if someone can claim insanity. The Monodon rule asks if the person knew what they were doing or that it was wrong. The irresistible impulse test looks at whether they could control their actions. The Model Penal Code from the American Legal Institute considers if they lack the ability to understand the criminality or follow the law at that moment. To succeed with this defense, the defendant must prove that at the time of the crime, their mental illness kept them from understanding what they were doing or knowing it was wrong. This usually involves expert psychiatric evaluations and detailed evidence about their mental health history and behavior during the crime. Courts are very careful with this defense because mental illness alone isn't enough. The defendant must show they lack the mental capacity to form intent or control their actions. It's important to note that this defense is different from being mentally unfit to stand trial. Competency relates to whether the person can participate in their defense during the trial. If they aren't competent, the trial is delayed until they regain mental fitness. If the insanity defense works, the outcome is often a verdict of not guilty by reason of insanity. Instead of prison, the person is usually committed to a mental health facility for treatment. This approach focuses on helping the individual rather than punishing them. Using this defense involves expert testimony, detailed investigations, and understanding the specific legal standards in the jurisdiction. Courts scrutinize the evidence closely because mental illness alone doesn't automatically qualify someone for this defense. The key is proving that their mental state at the time of the crime prevented them from understanding or controlling their actions. In short, the actual insanity defense is a legal claim that mental illness at the time of the crime meant the defendant couldn't form the necessary intent or understanding to be held responsible. It's a complex process that combines legal rules with psychiatric evidence to determine if someone should be held accountable for their actions.